Good morning, and how is everyone this beautiful cold day? So, yeah, I wanted to give you a bit of an overview on the Eat Right for Your Type blood group diet because it's really, really simple. And on Peter D'Adamo's website, you can just go on and you can find exactly what to eat and what to avoid. So it's very, very simple to follow. You don't need to buy anything extra. You just find out what foods you to eat for your blood group, and then you just eat them, and you avoid the ones that are not on your list. So let's just start with an overview. We've got 4 blood groups: O, A, B, and AB. And you may not know what blood group you are. I know a lot of my clients, they don't know. Good morning. Because usually the only people that know are people that give blood, or if for some reason they've had to find out. Even in your doctor's notes, it's not there, which seems crazy. So it can be a wee bit of a challenge to find out what blood group you're at, but you probably know by the foods that work. If you already understand your body, these foods make me gain weight, these foods help me lose weight, you probably get a bit of an understanding as to what blood group you are. So let's look at, it's very important, obviously, if it comes to blood transfusions, that you understand what blood group you are, because O's can give to A and B, but A and B cannot give to anybody except A and B. And AB, they can have everything, which is quite handy. But they're a very small percentage, thought to be under 5% of the population. Now, I think it's really interesting, where the English, let's call the Brits, we're probably about 50% blood group O, with about 80% blood group A, and the rest B, AB. And Aborigines in Australia are almost 80% blood group O, with a little bit A and a little bit B, as are the Native Americans. Now, this is the kind of traditional hunter-gatherer. Africans, again, a wee bit more like the UK, maybe more than 60% blood group O, and about 25 each. That doesn't quite add up, but 20% each A and B. And Asians, they've got the least amount of O's, and way more, and Indians have the biggest amount of B's. So their B's make up their biggest population, and the O's and the A's make up the rest. So I think it's really interesting to see, and you can go into, I've put links in the event, so you can go in if you're interested in diving deeply into the understanding of this. You can go in and research it yourself, because there's a ton of rabbit holes, as per usual, that you can go down with each one of these. But ultimately, I feel it comes down to, it doesn't really matter how much you know or how much I know. What are we going to eat today that's going to help us to heal and give us more energy and help us redress any imbalances that we have? It always comes down to that, and that's what I love about Peter D'Adamo's work, is that it's just simple and it's free. You can just go on there and follow it. Now, within the kind of 4 basic groups, there's also, he divides it into a couple of different groups. I've never really gone down to that level, because I know, as a blood group O myself, no white potatoes, no lentils actually, which I absolutely love, and no grains. Grains just don't really work for us. So you really are looking at the meat and 2 veg thing. And in terms of legumes, mung beans, aduki beans, and black-eyed beans are the ones that we digest. So why is it important? Because it comes down to the antibodies, the antigens, and the digestive enzymes. And again, I think if you listen to Dr. Deborah Drake's, we've got this completely new understanding of the body, which is that your digestive system actually is part of the outside world. It seems that it's inside you, but you think about it, things are going in and they come back out. So the walls of the digestive tract are actually out, the external environment. And there's a lot of interaction going on between our internal and our external environment. And when the wall of the digestive system becomes compromised, things can get inside the body that quite simply were never meant to be there. They're meant to be held kind of on the, if you imagine a whole load of shells and plants growing in the barrier reef, well, that's what it should be like inside our digestive system, and things do what they need to do and then move on. And they message, what, if you go in and listen to Peter's video that I posted, they're sending messages. You do this, you do this. There's a whole messaging intelligent system going on when we're in balance. And, you know, the thing that's really fascinating me is obviously how much of our problems are coming from our food and our water, especially when we travel to foreign countries. And of course, I've lived abroad and travelled a lot. So there's a lot of stuff in the body that would not normally have been in a wee Scottish girl's body. And then there's obviously who you're having sex with, and how, and even he talks about that, you know, if you're a blood group O going into a blood group O environment, if you've got two humans, how that can be easier for the body. So fascinating stuff. Peter Didamo, if you go into the event, you'll see all the information there. He wrote the book, Eat Right for Your Type. So now, as with anything, people want to come in and criticise, oh, he didn't do this, he didn't do that. What he recognised was that some people thrive on one diet and some people fail. And I think if you take a blood group A compared to a blood group O, you're not going to thrive on the same diet. Why? Because of the antibodies and the enzymes. Let's keep it simple. The enzymes, what do? They help break the food down. If you put 2 apples in a bowl and you leave them there for a while, you'll see the mold start to come and it starts to disintegrate, because that's the intelligent way of breaking these things down to go back to the earth. Now, that's an enzymatic reaction. So when we want to have, the body wants to break down the food, the enzymes can come out. Now, they either come from the body or they're already in the food, ready to interact with the body. Depending on if we've chewed it properly, depending on how we've cooked it, depending on what we put in as food in the first place with any chance of an enzyme in it. So there's a lot of things to think about. But we're just looking at somebody who eats a whole food diet, real foods, the way nature gave them to us. The enzymes in the saliva start the breakdown process, and then as you swallow, it goes through that really intelligent digestive tract, and the body extracts what it needs and lets go of the rest. So if you're blood group A and you're eating venison and lamb, you don't have the same fat and protein enzymes to break that food down. So if you have been brought up in a very traditional Scottish diet, and then you've gone into a kind of vegetarian vegan diet, you'll lose weight. And that'll be because of how your body handles the food, how it breaks it down and moves it through. Because if you're putting stuff into the mouth and to go through that digestive tube, and you don't have the enzymes to break it down, the body can do 2 things. Absolutely put everything at it and scream it out the bowels in the form of diarrhea, or it can store it. It'll make a cell to store it. So that's really the main things. And then you get bloating and fatigue because the body's struggling because it basically doesn't have the enzymes to break the food down. It's not really rocket science if you think about it. Can the body do that job? Yes. Can the body do that job? No. So a real understanding, and again, you'll not really get this stuff at the doctors, and you'll hear him talk about that as well, why we're not taking this into consideration. Now, it's a grand overview. Obviously, there's more than 4 different kinds of diets. So it totally depends, again, what you're doing. If you're in a hugely physical job, if you're going through a divorce, if you're moving house, if you've had a loss, grief, if you're pregnant, if you're breastfeeding, if you're recovering from that, if you're menopausal, you know, all these different ages and stages of our life call on different levels of fuel and fats. And that's a whole other live. We're just really looking at the blood groups right now. Now, I've posted in the event in Facebook all the different A, B, B, and O, so that you can go through really easily and learn. Because not only is it about what you eat, it's also about what is the best exercise for you, and what you're going to get the best results from, and also what you're more prone to. So blood group A can be have more easily stressed, or have like a thinner colon. So things are more likely to get in than maybe a blood group O. But there's pros and cons for each blood group, so don't start getting don't get hypochondriacal around things. It's just information, and there's no exact science and one fits all. Just look at it and take what you need out of it. So there's different, but obviously managing stress in terms of staying well is enormous. Um, and simply because when you're stressed, you change your own chemistry. And we change your own chemistry, and your vagus nerves firing into your digestive system, you're taking yourself out of the digestive state. So when you eat, this is why it's so important, don't have your kids on devices when they're eating. Sit round the table, eat, chew, and chat, and actually focus on that job, nice and relaxed. Give that very, very important refueling stage the time and the sacred time and communication that it needs. Because if you're trying to do it on the run, you're just compromising a really, really intelligent and critically important part of your day. Now, obviously, we can all do that 1 or 2 days. The body's pretty genius and very hardy. But the problem is right now we're doing these things day after day after day. And what we're looking at doing with the Heal Scotland movement is helping you without having to spend a penny, helping you to take straws off the camel's back. And all you then have to do is act on the information. So if you're doing the intermittent fasting, I'm going to do a live tonight at 8 o'clock, tapping on eating at night. So if you're finding that really difficult, or maybe you're finding the morning difficult, let me know what it is that's challenging you. But what you probably find is the most confusing thing is, should I be eating that? Now, I've told you before, there is absolutely no healing and restorative diet that has any white shite in it. White sugar or white flour, none. Trust me, you can search the whole world over. You can search the world over for the healer for you, the natural path for you. You're never going to get to eat cakes and chocolates and sweeties on a healing diet. Sugar is detrimental to our physical, mental, and spiritual health. So, and then there's the kind of refined, processed crap sugar compared to fruit sugars and the sugars you find in nature. So there's a whole rabbit hole you can go down there as well. So if you really are struggling, really the lives and etc. I'm doing right now are more for people that can manage it themselves, or get together with their friends and manage it as well. It's absolutely key that you have the support system, but maybe you're going to need to go to a therapist or get some help on a one-to-one. So I can only do so much. But if you're well enough and smart enough that you can do your own research and you really want it, because it's very much about, we're really moving from the victim perpetrator, I'm helpless, to I am helpful and I am powerful instead of I am powerless. All the information you need is available pretty much on our site and our channels, etc., and certainly on the net. But then you just have to decide on what you're going to eat. And this is what I love about Peter D'Adamo's work, because I know in my head what legumes work for me, what I'm going to be able to digest. And I tend to use that because the ones that I can digest, all blood groups can digest in terms of legumes. White potatoes, that although I love them in every shape or form, if you're suffering from yeast and candida, etc., just put the white potatoes out for now. And I think it's helpful for people to think about it just for now. Don't think I can't ever have a white potato again, because clearly that's not true. But if your immune system's struggling and you're full of yeast and candida infections and parasites and worms, and your digestive system is really enzyme depleted, then you will know, because you'll know it by your energy levels, you'll know by how you feel after you eat. You'll just get knocked out because that's the body struggling, and it's saying, will you lie down? there's nothing wrong with having a nap through the day if you have the capacity to do that and you need to sleep. But what it's telling you is, I don't have enough energy to keep you at your work and concentrating at your computer or out in the garden or whatever you're doing, being with your kids. I don't have enough energy to do that and digest that food that you just put in. So if you think about it from, are you digesting the foods? Now, let's talk briefly about enzyme supplements. When you're doing the Gerson therapy, it's pancreatic enzymes that you use on that. Right now, I'm just using a multifaceted one, which I'll share with you. I've never used it before, so really you're going to have to take responsibility, do your own research and find out, because I don't sell, like Janice, we don't sell things to you. We recommend foods that everybody can make and take, and then we have to just go out like anybody else. A lot of people sell their own supplements, so they're going to sell you their brand, and definitely some brands are better than others. But to be honest, I'm not really sure. I always used to use Cytoplan, but I know there's other brilliant vitamins and supplements on the market. Go to somebody you trust that you feel is just not trying to sell you something. Because what can end up happening, like a lot of people, you've got a whole load of these little tubs in your bathroom, in your kitchen, or in your fridge, and you never really use them because you've never actually done them long enough. Because with supplements and with food and with fermenting, it's the long game you're in for. You're looking at 3 months, try it for 3 months, see how you feel. And what happens is, as you start to feel better, you forget what it was like to feel pretty crap. So that's why a journal is really helpful, because we love tests, right? I'm pretty anti-test, to be honest, but people love them. Where am I now? Where am I on the scale? How much have I got? And what, blah, blah, blah. And don't get me wrong, it can be very helpful, certainly with our voice print, to go in and see particularly parasites, candida, and yeast infections, because that can make you feel low-level crap forever. So it's really good to know that. But see, to be honest, you'll know yourself. You can do a very simple spit test, and you can spit your saliva into a glass first thing in the morning, and you can tell by what it does whether your gut is in harmony or whether it's in a dysbiosis, which is out of kilter. And tending your garden, if you've got a garden or if you've ever seen anybody's garden, and you get people that really look after it and it always looks nice, and then you get people that forget, go away on holiday for 2 weeks, and you come back in the summer and it's all overgrown. That's pretty much what our bioterrain's like. It needs constant looking after. The whole Zoe thing is becoming very popular now, but again, it's relying on technology. Yeah, and I think, technology can be really helpful. And I know that, my kids have all got these watches, and it really does, your personality type, sometimes you just get obsessed. I used to use it for sleep, to see what my sleep was like. And then I was just like, this isn't really helping me. Eventually you can get obsessed by it. But I did wear the Zoe. No, I didn't actually do Zoe, but I had one of these things that my pal gave me, and I watched that just to see what foods were working for me and what you're digesting and how cold water affects it. So, you can definitely have some fun and learn, because what we're talking about really is learning about your body. But also we need to break free from thinking we need somebody else to fix us. What we are talking about at Heal Scotland is a total paradigm shift. And if you start, when the body starts knocking, I'm a bit tired, I'm like this, whatever, I've got a bit of bloating, a bit of discomfort. That's the body talking to you. Are you listening? Or do you just do what I have certainly done, is you just crash on, hoping for the best, instead of going, right, okay, what's happening here on a mental, emotional, physical, and even if you don't want to call it spiritual, soul level? How am I feeling really nourished, and I've got a strong sense of purpose? All of that is affecting how you digest your food. So, I was talking to Hilary. I don't know if you watched the Sweet Escape. She's just come out a 10-day Vipassana, and had got a lot of clarity, and has struggled, by her own admission, with sugar addiction. And what she did actually at Christmas and New Year was she went on a 10-day Vipassana rather than go home and eat a lot of Christmas and New Year crap. She just didn't want to do that. So that's extreme, right? to do that at Christmas and New Year when you could be with your family. But I really admire that. I'm going to make a choice. And at times when you're not strong enough to go in and look at all the crap, my aunt's still got all the whole load of sugar and stuff. And in the salon and yesterday, big box of milk tray. Temptation for me is to put it in the bin. And that's what I would do in my own house. Absolutely not have it there. But the reality is you're getting all that. Prepare yourself. And my daughter's gone on the Galveston diet. I don't know if you've heard that. It's a way of healing for perimenopause, for eye inflammation, and hormone balance, which a lot of young mums are needing. If you're in your 40s, because inflammation when the hormones change, and it may be nothing to do with you. There's so many hormone disruptors in our environment now. It's understanding I'm out of kilter, and we all know that it just takes a little bit imbalance around that time of your cycle where suddenly it's you're crazy or you're sad or you're crying, etc. So the hormone balance is key, but the one magic thing you can do for your hormone balance is get outside. I was listening to Deborah last night, and she was just talking about even sitting at a window, you're getting something like, well, at least less than half of the amount of goodness, and you're outside in the actual rays of the sun that actually communicate with the pineal gland, because we are part of nature, and this body, whether you like it, know it or not, is communicating. This morning when I was in the loch and the sunrise, and it's just like, whoa, do you feel it in your heart? The colours. What colour therapy am I getting? Just sitting in the icy water and looking at this. I know how that feels. I don't need science to tell me. But what we're doing is we're giving all our power away to the tests. And I know with the clients that come to me that have very often got a cancer diagnosis, they live from test to test. They just want somebody to say it's working, you're getting better. And that's a trust in the body, isn't it? I'm going to be doing a wee bit around that as well. Do you trust your cells? So yeah. So look, and if you know what your blood group is, if you're interested in giving it a try, and it's particularly if you want to lose weight, look at the foods that you can digest. Now, let me talk about enzymes again, because there was a train of thought that you only get a certain amount of enzymes to last for your whole life. I'm not sure I believe that, because now that I understand the genius of the body for regeneration and restoration, I'm not sure that's true. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's not true. But anyway, all the food has the enzymes in it when we eat it. The saliva has the enzymes. So certainly the way you chew, and again, blood group O, I still in that practice of slow down, put your cutlery down, chew it, chat, let the body, give the body the best possible chance. And then you can supplement the enzymes, and you can, so raw things, for example, raw fish, etc., and raw meat already has all that enzymatic action in it. I just cannot do raw meat. But also now, because we've poisoned everything, the mercury, etc., the bugs that can come in, that the cooking to a certain degree we know kills a lot of the bugs and the potential problems that are there. So that's something else to think of, is how you're going to cook it, and cooking it lightly, chewing it well. And just go on Peter's a fantastic website. So let me just I'll talk you through blood group A. So, and it also tells you about handling stress. So blood group A, cultivate creativity and expression in your life. Establish a consistent daily schedule. Go to bed no later than 11 and sleep for 8 hours. And don't linger in bed. Get up and get going. Take at least 2 breaks of 20 minutes during the day. Stretch, take a walk. Don't skip meals. Eat more protein at the start of the day, less at the end. Don't eat when you're anxious. Eat smaller, more frequent meals. Now that's, quite different advice from a blood group O, where you're looking at develop clear plans for goals and tasks, annual, monthly, weekly, daily, to avoid impulsivity. That's me, impulse. Develop clear plans. Make lifestyle changes gradually rather than trying to tackle everything at once. Eat meals, even snacks, seated at a table. So that's an interesting one. Chew slowly. Put your fork down between the bites of food. Great advice for everyone. Avoid making big decisions or spending money when stressed. So that's interesting, isn't it? Do something physical when you feel anxious. That's quite a no-brainer. Engage in 30 to 40 minutes of aerobic exercise at least 4 times a week. When you crave a pleasure-releasing substance, alcohol, tobacco, sugar, do something physical. So you can go in and you can look through, if you know what your blood type is, look through the blood types and see what kind of foods. I remember doing a food journal with my daughter to one of her clients, and she showed me her food journal, and I said, she's blood group A. And she said, how the hell do you know that? She was. And I said, well, she's able to digest grains and things that if blood group O, her diet's the complete opposite, really. O and A are opposite ends of the scale. So you get to see very quickly if somebody's maintaining their weight and is a good, healthy weight, they'll be eating the right foods. Usually, not always. Obviously, there's other ways to keep your weight down, but if somebody's got a really healthy diet. Does it make a difference if you're rhesus negative? No, not really. Now, it's a very good question though, because obviously we know in the rhesus negative world that the blood bank loves your blood because it can be given to everyone. And I'm sure there's lots of other understandings that we don't quite have yet around it, but still O is your main thing. And but one of my absolute heroes for healing cancer was Dr. Nicholas Gonzalez. Now he had 10 different diets. Peter's got 4, really, but within that there's 2 different groups. So you could say he's got 8 potential diets, although they're very similar within the blood group. Nicholas Gonzalez had 10. And he said that Peter D'Adamo had done a huge, he brought this to everybody's attention, a huge favour for the world in letting us understand that the blood groups had different antibodies, antigens and enzymes. Therefore, we've got a deeper understanding when people get sick, what things that are happening and not happening. But he had these 10 diets ranging from raw vegan right up to ketogenic. Now, I'm not sure how he decided which diet you should have. His he died sadly a couple of years ago, but he had phenomenal success. There was a lot of Gerson influence in there as well, and pancreatic enzymes, etc. So there, you can get really, really down the rabbit hole. Can I have that? Can I have that? And I think if you're struggling, you have to have black and white. It has to be eat that and don't eat that. So if you can start off and go, right, okay, let me try this. Or you can go and you can actually send your blood away and you can go much further down the rabbit hole. If you've got money and you've got time and you're interested, or you're really sick and you really want to get down into the nitty gritty, then you'll have to spend something. But what you can always do is just get the diet and follow it and see how you go. And you'll usually notice very quickly, within about 4 to 6 weeks, you'll start to say, right, okay, but patience and persistence, the P's and the C words, commitment and change, these are the things that people challenge. All these diets are incredible. There's really, but what you have to find out is what diet can you stick to? Because this is the problem. If you don't stick to it, you're not going to get the result. Remember, your food is your medicine. So you're taking the medicine every day. And Peter says, that food can do one of 3 things. It can act like medicine. So therefore, it's helping the body to heal, restore, regenerate, repair. It can be neutral. So it's not really doing very much, but it'll certainly be giving you more energy. Or it can act as poison. And when you take a blood group O to a blood group A, what the blood group A's can be eating can be absolutely bringing them to life, whereas for a blood group O, you're just going to lose energy and be constantly hungry. So it's a really, really good place to start. And I still use it with all my clients. Do you know what blood group you are? And then it's really simple. No dairy. If you're blood group O, no dairy, no grains, and no white potatoes, and these 3 different kinds of legumes. It's simple. And obviously your white sugars are out anyway. But then you can eat everything else in quantities, and it's really interesting because I'd been having this argument with my son about the bite point, and he was saying it's calories in, calories out, which of course to a degree is true. But if you're blood group O and you're having a lot of protein and fat, say 1,600 calories, and I got this from Andrew Huberman's podcast that I posted yesterday, the way you digest it is only equivalent to about 750 calories. So the body's taking in the information very differently from what it's saying on the scales out here. So there's so many things that are influencing how we're digesting food. Whereas if you are blood group A, that might not be the case. But also, if you've got a very super healthy digestive system and you're living in a really symbiotic way with nature and you're healthy, your body can pretty much cope with anything. But it's only when we start to get sick and we start to be compromising the immune system and the digestive system, which is thought to be about 80% of your immune system, starts to struggle. Then that's when it becomes more obvious. Oh, I'm tired now. Oh, I ate that. Oh. And then, oh, I'm bloating. Oh, I'm uncomfortable. It becomes very clear something's going on in there. So you can either pay and go down a rabbit hole and go and work with somebody to get very fine out results, or you can just go on and try it yourself. And I highly recommend that you do, but you have to be honest. No lying and no stories about how, I can't do this and I can't that, I need this, I need that. Carolyn Mace, she's a medical intuitive, and she read for 10,000 people. This is how much crap we talk as humans. And do you know how many people out of 10,000 said, is that all I have to do to get my health back? Guess how many out of 10,000 said that when she said, do this, do that, cut that out, eat this? One person out of 10,000 was open and willing and excited to change to get their life and their health and their vitality back. Isn't that crazy? So, are you willing? What are you not willing to give up to be well? White potatoes. I love potatoes. Fine, don't give them up. But understand you're not going to get the best performance fuel if you're blood group O. Now, Gerson, you can eat as much as you want in the potato front because you take out all fat and all salt. So that's very different. So again, you can go down so many rabbit holes, but my advice to you and anybody that's trying to heal themselves is to choose from the plethora of incredible plans that are out there. It's just a way of eating. Choose one and stick to it and see how you go. And Eat Right for Your Type is really simple. And focus very much on what you can eat and make sure, go online, get your big shop in, make sure you've got everything right there that you need. I'm not good on plant-based only, no energy and feel faint. I'm much better with veg and meat, no red lentils or white starch, but okay with green lentils. Yes, that would make complete sense. Yeah, absolutely. When I use the software, it just says Facebook user, so I'm not sure who it is, but when I get off, I'll be able to see who it is. Yeah, that's absolutely green lentils. Yeah, I never really thought about that because obviously try it in your own body and you'll know by how you feel. You are the biggest lie detector that you can possibly have. And the cleaner and clearer you get, when you put something into the body that the body can't work with, you'll know immediately. You can also put it in your hand like this. Oh, hi, Les. All right, okay. And you can actually muscle test. I'm going to be doing that with you as well. The emotion codes, how you can tune in so that you don't need to pay for tests. You don't need to do it by all means if you've got the money and the wherewithal and you really, really seriously want to invest financially as well as emotionally. But if you can't do that and haven't got the money right now, honestly, you're getting all the information that you need. Because ultimately, it doesn't really matter how your digestive system works, or you don't need to know anything about enzymes or antibodies or antigens or anything like that. What you just need to know, what am I going to eat today? And what am I going to do today? Because it gets so confusing. And I've thought that many a time. I don't really need any more knowledge because what what most people struggle with is the day-to-day stuff. What am I going to eat today? What protocols? Am I doing enough protocols? And, one protocol, people want to sell you stuff. My breath work's amazing. My this, come in the cold with me, whatever. It's like, and that's, everybody's got to make their way. I totally understand that. But, very often just changing your diet's not enough because you've got a whole load of emotional stuff stuck in the energy body. And very often not doing emotional stuff only is not enough. You need to get the food right, and the emotional stuff right, and then you can add in some natural light and reconnecting to nature and starting looking at your purpose, etc. But you know that can be absolutely overwhelming. If you are, I've been helping look after my daughter over the last few weeks, and the kids and the food, and you forget what it's like. I had 3 kids myself when I was young. I know it's a lot of work, but you forget how much work it is until you're actually back in, doing that, and then taking the dog and all the different chores that we have to do. So then you come last. And that's what I love about intermittent fasting. Just do that little bit at night. Don't eat at night. Get your devices off at 9 o'clock. Read, listen to something, download something, get away from Wi-Fi and get away from the electrical effect, which we're also starting to understand affects the jungle, the tummy jungle. So it's all of that. But start where you're at. How much time do you actually have? How much energy you have? Don't, if your blood group low like me, you're more likely to go, this. No, that one thing. And I've definitely found over the last few weeks, I'm starting to feel much better now. But it was just one thing after another, where I was just like, oh my God, I can't do all this. So you just take it down to what do you need to do on a daily basis? So only you can decide that. And get into the intermittent fasting chat on in the Wellbeing Hub. Share your stories, ask for help, ask for support. And we've got some amazing therapists on our bank already, on our page. Go and check the members. Everybody that's on there has got something valuable. If you need a recommendation, or if you want to work with me privately, then let me know. And also let me know what you're struggling with. I'm happy to, and what you want to know more about. I'm happy to do these lives and pass this information on to you. And then you take it away. And I'm making it as easy as you can. Inside this event on Facebook, you've got all the different diets. You've got the YouTube video to listen to. And I highly recommend that's what you do in the evening. The more you understand, the more exciting it becomes. And healing should be an absolutely phenomenally exciting journey, but it's not linear. You're still going to feel shite some days and great some days, the way everybody does. So give the body peace. I love what Byron Katie said. What the body is doing is none of your business. So we get out the way and stop tormenting it. What does this mean? What does that mean? I need that. Shut up. Move back out the way. Think about absolutely high energy, vital clarity. Think about how you would love it to be. That's the information you want going through the body. You, with your thoughts, with your feelings, with your perceptions, you're sending information through this energy system all day long. So please make sure you're thinking about what you want, you're talking about what you want, and you're giving the body the love, the unconditional love and information so that it can restore and heal itself. Okay, well, if anybody's, I've just cut big stores, just butchers, and yeah, exactly. And I think, I'm in a luxury position as well, because it's just me. Usually I can do that. But unfortunately, cost does come into it, especially if you're feeding a bundle of teenagers and hungry, growing children. And this is the thing. We all have to do it slightly differently, and we have to feel good about what we're doing and not guilty and resentful until we can change it. And our stupid government makes sure that quality food is all that's available. And certainly, if it's not all that's available, it's the cheapest food that you can possibly get that's going to feed, your gut, heart, brain axis. I mean, this communication system, you think to yourself, how's it going to be in the future if you cannot cope? Because there's not a single nutrient going into some bodies. They will end up with a state of disease. And it's so sad. So this is why we need to get the information out. Some people still don't make the connection between real food and the real body. Because we've been like, oh, cut bits off, inject things in, all the stuff that we do, dress it up, make it, put a really expensive thing on here, carry a really expensive thing. It's like, no! Listen, your health absolutely is your wealth. And, that's it. And unless you've had somebody that's lost their health, you maybe not fully realise that yet. Don't wait. Get on these simple things. Start with intermittent fasting. Get in and look at your blood type. Loads of different diets. I'm writing blogs on that just now, so that if you're trying to heal something that's perceived to be more serious, you can then just choose a diet. Choose one. Read them all. Listen to your body. What one are you resonating with? Kathy Grout said she looked at all the healing diets when she was diagnosed with lymphoma, and she thought, can't do that, can't do that. Could maybe do that. Right, this one, I can do this one. And it was the Bruce diet. So look at because no diet works if you don't follow it. It's as simple as that. So find one that you think, yeah, I can do that, and start slowly. And if all you can do right now is cut out the white sugar and the white flour, do that and stop eating at that time of night. If you can't do 3 hours before bed, do 2. If you can't do 2, do 1.5. If you can't do 1.5, do 1. Start somewhere and then build and build and build until you get stronger and stronger and stronger and more able and more capable. And then tap every single day of this challenge, because that's where you're going to rewire your brain and let go of all your BS, victim-like stories fast. Okay, so I'm going to go live tonight at 8. That's the time where people start going, oh, I need to eat shite. So I'm going to go live and I'm going to talk you through that. So if nighttime is your challenge, join me tonight at 8. Okay. If there's no more questions, everybody good? I think I've answered everything that's on there. Cool. You can ping me a message afterwards if there's anything you need to know. Okay. Have a great day. Ciao.